Hi, my name is Keith and I'm known as the Florida Stone Man, and today I'm going to be talking to you about 7 extremely powerful and rare crystals. And I'm very excited to talk about this video because there's so many crystals out there that people are just not using or not even aware of. And when you actually find out how powerful these crystals are, there's something that you'd want to be using in your daily routine. Crystals are freakishly powerful, especially some of the rare ones. These ones that I'm listing are ones that I really like, and I think you guys would find very awesome as well because I've uncovered some new knowledge about some of these crystals, and some of the crystals that I'm going to talk about is pre-existing knowledge, but the knowledge still upgrades regardless. So the first crystal I'm going to talk about is Chastity Light, and it's literally a crystal that looks like a cross in a stone, and I had my Chastity Light out here earlier, but I'm not going to be able to show you every stone I talk about because there's a lot of stones out there. But these are 7 main crystals that I'm going to be talking about. The first one is Chastity Light. I'm going to make sure I keep a list just so I don't get off topic. But Chastity Light is literally cross stone. When the settlers found Chastity Light, they saw it and they took it as a miracle. And it is a miracle because it's a stone that forms a perfect cross. This crystal is vicious against crystals. I'm not vicious against crystals. Does that mean other crystals? This crystal is actually vicious against curses, specifically curses. It has the energy of whoever's cursing you. It'll take 100% of what they're doing. It has crossroads energy to it. It has intersection energy of between the physical and spiritual worlds. So as you wear Chastity Light, as you wear the stone, which is a very interesting stone because it's both a root and a crown chakra stone, which is really cool. As you wear this crystal and someone's actively cursing you, whatever they're doing to curse you, and this is usually how it goes anyway, but this is very specific to this crystal, goes to themselves. So if they wrote your name down, literally their name goes on as a replacement for your name and whatever they're doing. For example, if that person's doing black candles on you, they're literally just doing black candles on themselves. It doesn't matter if they have your hair or fingernails, etc., because it just gets swapped out with their spiritual DNA, with your spiritual DNA. And it's as if that person's at home cursing themselves. If that person has some kind of sacrifice, because when people do curses, people get very desperate and they'll do sacrifices. Whatever they're doing a sacrifice on, it's literally for them now. It literally turns the tables. It's a really cool crystal because it's just like, yeah, you're going to be busy cursing yourself. It's usually how this goes anyway, but at this point, with this crystal, you barely have to do anything to send it back because it literally just swaps everything they're doing for you out to them. It's very vicious in that manner. It's really cool. It's also a gift opening crystal as well. It's very grounding and it's very opening of the higher chakras too. It just has a different energy about it and it's extremely powerful. Like you can literally it's a portal stone as well. This stone is literally the stone of portals too. It can do some things that, and I'm gonna name another portal stone in this video too, but it can do things that are normally not able to be done spiritually. Let's just say that. So let me move on to crystal number 2. And I actually know crystal number 2 because I wrote it down. But Boulder Opal is really cool. Like, Boulder Opal is very cool. It's actually, I don't know what online says about some of these crystals, but Boulder Opal is a crystal of beauty. It'll have you being perceived as very beautiful, as very elegant, and it changes the way you walk. Like, for some reason, your footsteps are very elegant, and they have a different touch upon the ground. One thing I noticed, for people who have negative energy around you when you wear Boulder Opal, everyone's going to lose their balance for some reason. Like, people with negative energy, you can tell it's them. It's like, whoa! And, like, because the first time I ever wore Boulder Opal at the gym, I'm like, why is everyone falling down? I'm like, oh, well, it's not everyone. It was everyone who had some kind of, like, baggage that they took to the gym that day. And people are like, whoa! Like a roller coaster or something like that. But it's pretty cool. So Boulder Opal will enhance your beauty, enhance your happiness. And when I talk about beauty, it's not just physical beauty. It's how you are perceived. So your voice, the way you walk, the way that you talk, it's going to be changed due to this energies of the stone because its frequency upgrades your frequency to its frequency. It's a very strange stone that I'm still studying, but it's It's a rare stone that if you actually get real boulder opal, which there's a lot of fakes online. There's a lot of fakes. I've seen things that are not even close to being boulder opal being called boulder opal. I've seen things dyed as boulder opal. There's just so many crystal fakes online. I don't know if a lot of people actually have dealt with the real crystal, but boulder opal is really cool. Next crystal. What's the next crystal? Oh, yeah, this one's a rare one. Mexican fire agate. And there's different grades of this crystal, and you better believe the grade matters with this crystal especially. Mexican fire agate is a curse eater and a curse spitter outer. It literally devours curses. It just like it chews it up and spits it out. So this crystal has pure fire energy to it. It has the energy of, let's just say you are a fire and your enemy is trying to grab you without your permission. So the longer that they try to grab you, the more it's going to burn. And their hand's going to be transformed, and they're going to have like a French fry for a hand. I don't know. Just a charged his whole hand. Let's just say that. So spiritually, anytime someone sends you a curse or a hex it sends it back to them so hard it takes everything away from them until they learn. Unfortunately, I've had someone in my TikTok live being like, I tried something on you when you were when you were talking about the Mexican fire agate, transforming people, etc. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, okay. So it's basically a stone of safety as well. So if you're someone who worries about people cursing you, you absolutely don't have to worry when you wear that crystal as well. And keep in mind, if you combine some of these crystals like Chastity Light and Mexican fire agate, you're putting those two crystals together, you don't have people cursing you anymore. They're cursing themselves, plus everything that even was supposed to get off the ground outside of the curse is defeating them. Like, Mexican fire agate is vicious. Like, I've seen it remove people. Like, fully remove people. Like, people have gone missing from just, like, more than 10. But, I mean, and for the people who get Mexican fire agate from me as well, which, people who are in the industry usually get Mexican fire agate from me, or people going into the industry, or people with, I don't want to say who gets Mexican fire agate from me, but this is one of the crystals that I prescribe based on energies being sent, and this will take someone who has never, ever said sorry in their life and make them apologize. Like, deeply until, and that's actually how some of the karma goes away. It's because the person realizes that what they did is bad, and they're not going to do it again. Now, the next crystal, Seraphinite. Now, I'm actually going to get some Seraphinite for myself soon, wherever I can put it, probably in my head or my hair. I'm still adjusting crowns and stuff like that. I have a whole bunch of crystals in the back of the head, too, but Seraphinite's vicious. It's vicious against negative energy. If you know the story, like, if you know about seraphims, they sit at the firmament and they guard the firmament. They don't come down here. They flat out don't. Now, and if something presents itself to you and says it's a seraphim, it's hoping that you're gullible and it's a fallen angel that's not even a high rank. Now, when it comes to actual seraphim, they sit at the firmament. They literally defend the firmament so nothing gets in. So that invaders don't get in. So they literally are, for anyone who's seen an actual seraphim, because sometimes you'll get to see certain things when you meditate, just really randomly, I'm not going to say, they're different. They're very different looking, it's very interesting what God has made, let's just say that. But they're beautiful in their own way, in the sense that they're very, very, they do what they do. They protect. And so does this crystal. This is exactly how the crystal is as well. So the crystal is very vicious upon negative energy, but it's not a crystal people think is a protection crystal, because it keeps threats away so far, and it has kind of like the energy of onyx, which this is a good crystal to combine with onyx. It keeps things far away, and it literally shreds them apart. Like, it'll just dispatch like the worst entities. It gets rid of actual fallen angels too, which is really cool. But Seraphinite's vicious against negative energy. Okie doke. Seraphinite opens gifts as well. It opens your clairvoyance. It opens your gifts of the heart, throat, mind's eye, higher chakras, etc. It's a really cool crystal because it has literally feathers in the crystal, but it's one of the most unsuspecting crystals ever. Usually the unsuspecting crystals are the most powerful ones. Now, number 5, Numite. This is a really cool crystal too. Numites. I don't know. Sometimes they call it online Numite. I'm like, oh, it's like Fred and the Flintstones. Numite. I'm like, okay. Numite is one of the only crystals to take you to a. Basically, it doesn't take you to your past lives like that, but it does literally. It's like a. You know when you're going from an Apple iPhone to an Android or Android to an iPhone, and there's like a file transfer. Well, this is one of the only crystals of if you actually get good Numite, because crystal quality differs. So if you have low quality Numite versus high quality Numite, they're doing different things, like a little bit differently, but the higher quality Numite will always do the absolute most, especially because there's more specs in it, there's more, because Numite's a stone that shines, and it has these, just, it reflects back negative energy at people who send it, but it reflects you to your past lives, to the point where you PDF file transfer GIFs. Like, it will have you downloading GIFs from past lives. It'll have you downloading certain memories. Certain things, people are like, okay, how do you know so much for a 27-year-old? I'm almost 27. I'm 26 right now, but it's... When I use Numite, it put me to sleep for a few days. And when I woke up out of that sleep, it was a different world that I have entered. It helped me download all my information from past lives on crystals, on roots and herbs. I mean, I can't say too much about that, but because we let's just say on this plane of existence, we don't know as much as we really should, because we're kind of lagged behind. But and there will be more crystals introduced in the future as well, but Numite's a really cool crystal. So whatever used to do the entire past life, let's just say you were a leather worker, right? And you were one of the best leather workers in your clan, in your past life, or in your kin, and in just your whole group. Now, if you took an interest in leatherworking in this life, but you didn't really know how to start, etc., and you start up and it's kind of difficult, and you're like, this is kind of wonky, but you like it, you're still going to do it, use Numite, and you wake up out of your sleep and you have all these leatherworking designs, you can see patterns, you can see just where to stitch it, how to stitch it, etc., and you're just like, this came to me naturally. You've heard that before. This comes to me naturally. Yeah, because you just downloaded it from your past life. You can download, speaking of PDF downloads, books from your past life. Like, literally, if you've read a book in the past life and you have Numite, or, I said Numite, I'm Fred Flintstone now. But it literally, it's a little intense in how, for one crystal to do all of that, it's, you might go through a lot when you first download it, depending on your past life and if you were bad or if you were good, etc. The longer you sleep, the more you download. Numite's crazy. What else about Numite? Numite's really cool. It's just one of those crystals that it's an impressive crystal. I've gained an entire new respect for that crystal, because I'm just pondering the nature of existence. I'm like, wow, God put some really cool crystals for us, and they're kind of like cheat codes, but most of the world's population is not going to figure out how to use it. But once you figure out how to use it, because people will get crystals, but people won't use them correctly, unfortunately. But Numite's really cool, like really, really cool. Like, just for how much power that one crystal can give you, especially if you were very good at something in the past life, such as, for me, it was crystals in a past life, and things that, even crystals that are not even here yet. Let's just say I'll be teaching some crystals in the future just based on that alone. But the next crystal, Alexandrite. Talking about, this is the second portal opening stone. Well, Numite's a portal opening stone to your past life, but Alexandrite, if you can get actual Alexandrite, is something I'd highly recommend you bring to the meditation of when you're talking to your guardian angels, because it allows your angels to do things that they normally are not allowed to do here because of the bridge. It's literally the bridge between realms. So I talk about the heart chakra a lot, the green and the blue, the green and the pink. It literally bridges, it creates a bridge between heaven and earth. So angels, you ever ask yourself, well, why can't this angel do all this stuff for me? Like, why can't this angel protect me from dropping this phone on my toe, for example? It's like, well, there's something called the balance. So angels can't do 100% of everything, but they can do a lot. The more crystals you have, the more roots and herbs that you work with, the more they're allowed to do, because it equals a balance. So if they were just to do everything for us without any crystals, any essences, it would throw the balance off. Okay, so with Alexandrite, it literally allows your angels to do very specific things. For people who get Alexandrite, your room will be full of sparks, just like whoosh, because your guardian angels will be showing off and be like, well, they don't necessarily show off like that. It's more like when you see those sparks, it's like, okay, cool, we've gotten something started, and there's something really cool to come. That's the energy of, and that's usually when someone's spiritual awakening starts to begin to happen, is you'll start seeing them sparks, which is your angels just flying around. It's really cool. Now, that's Alexandrite. Crystal number 7. Ironlite. And this crystal is actually not even what I expected it to be until as of recently, because it's a crystal that holds secrets on secrets on secrets on secrets. And I know this is about Tanzanite, Iolite, what else? Lepidolite holds a lot of secrets as well. But for some of the crystals that belong to the higher dimensions and colors we can't perceive, Iolite will literally help you fully pilot pilot the astral realm. So when you use Iolite, they used to call it Viking's glass. You can literally navigate through the astral realm very clearly and go to where you want to go. You can open gifts not by accident with Iolite, but you can target specific gifts, especially when you get specific. You can perceive different colors that we can't really imagine, which is really trippy. So some of you might actually trip on Iolite. If you get low quality Iolite, you're not going to be able to feel it as much, but the higher quality Iolites have different properties, especially when it's when you have the shiny Iolites or the translucent Iolites, even the darker ones. The darker Iolites are very good because they tap into a little bit of the root and the crown. So these crystals that work with the root and the crown, oh, how cool and how wonderful and how amazingly awesome. These crystals are really fun to work with. Keep in mind, when you're working with crystals, they take time. So a lot of people do expect for a crystal to do everything for them when they first get the crystal. Now, if you had trauma for 20 years and you just got a trauma healing crystal, of course it's going to do a bunch when you first get it. And then it goes back and back and back into 20 years of trauma. So you have to let the crystal do its job. You have to let it do its thing. Some days it'll take more energy for the crystal to do its job, and other days it'll be easy. Now, crystals do have a popcorn effect. For example, if you think that you're used to amethyst and it's not doing much for you anymore, it just got started. Like, the more that you think you don't feel a crystal is the more it's actually doing to open your chakras to a certain vibration. Now, I'm going to recap in my little handy-dandy notebook over here. The first crystal I talked about is Chastity Light, or the Crossstone. Number 2 is Boulder Opal. Number 3 is Mexican Fire Agate, one of my favorites. Number 4 is Seraphinite. Number 5 is Numite. Number 6 is Alexandrite. Number 7 is Iolite. These crystals, and some of these crystals, I'm just like, especially a crystal like Numite, Mexican Fire Agate, Seraphinite, Alexandrite, Iolite, like, these crystals are awe-inspiring. It's just like, this one thing can do all of this, even by surprise, because I'll have a crystal for a year, and I didn't think it did that much, and then it really starts opening, it starts opening. It's kind of like a box, like a present you've had for a year, and you just start unwrapping it, or it starts unwrapping itself, and then Pandora's box of just blessings come out. I can use a better example than that, but these crystals are awesome, and they amp up with time. They're really cool, especially when you wear them as necklaces, because some of you will have bracelets, and if you see my bracelets, they're getting very different. I don't know which direction these bracelets are heading in, but I'm liking it. I'm really liking it. It's very different. It's very different. If you have any questions, ask them in the comments section. Until then, I'll see you guys next time. Ciao.